Well, I've tried to be fairly positive with James Gunn. Although I don't like everything he does, I wasn't really impressed with Guardians 1 or 2. I did like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I praised it as such. And overall, I do think he's a strong writer. He was sort of mentored by Joss Whedon, and I still admire Whedon despite a lot of missteps, like his really bad version of Justice League. But yeah, more and more Superman is looking very, very iffy. Now, let me say the positives. I think Lois looks good. So the behind the scenes photos with her, she looks very impressive. The Daily Planet looks good. And the supporting cast also looks fairly good. Like, I think Mr. Terrific looks fine. A lot of people are critical of that, but I think that's fine. But you're not here for the love. Let's get to the hate. And there's a lot to hate here. Oh, man. So, what's the worst? Well, I think arguably, yeah, the Superman suit, not very good. But let's begin with this version of Clark Kent, which looks very, very confused. Now, that version of Clark Kent from Christopher Reeves, where he's kind of like this bumbling guy who can't really walk straight, that's something Christopher Reeves brought to the table.
The kids are wearing, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But for him, it looks like he's wearing a hairpiece. It does look really stupid on him. It
Again,
looks like
there
a
are
hair.
different versions of Clark. So you can have serious Clark or funny Clark. But this Gunn Clark is like, what the hell is he? What does he look like? He doesn't look like almost any other version of Clark. And I get it, he's not doing Smallville, but really, like, I don't know, this is not that hard. Do something like Tom Welling or Christopher Reeves, but this version is just really, really confusing. Really, really confusing. And then let's get to the central thing, which is Superman himself. And boy, wow, people are really laughing at this with good reason. That again, David has put time in the gym. He is making an effort, but costume is really not helping him. It doesn't look like he's very muscular at all. And again, Superman doesn't have to be super muscular. The early versions, he looks a little bit more beefy, but he doesn't look super muscular. I mean, even Russell Crowe in Gladiator 1 did not look super muscular. But again, usually it's a trope now that you should really look fairly muscular. You don't have to look like Cavill. You don't have to look like Hugh Jackman. But yeah, the costume just doesn't look like it fits him. It looks like he's a toddler, and the costume is a little oversized. And they're even changing a few things, like the collar is not consistent with the first photo they released. I wonder what that's about. The costume seems to be a little bit all over the place. It's like invoking Kingdom Come. Why? I mean, that's a much older version of Superman. That's a little confusing. And it's taking things from the New 52, but it's like the New 52 basically destroyed itself. There were a few good comics like Batman, but a lot of the New 52 just came and went. So that's a little confusing as well.
Pictures of Henry Cavill in Zack Snyder's DCU movies, and I don't even like Zack Snyder, so don't come at me like you're a Snyder fangirl. These are behind the scenes pictures where he looked absolutely fantastic, and it wasn't this wrinkly pajama-esque Party City mess that we're seeing on David Corran's.
Right, now I'm citing Snarky J there because some people say, oh, you're just one of the Snyder bots. You're in the Snyder cult. Like, no, people who don't even like Snyder are like, yeah, this is looking a little weak. Now again, these are the designs. This is just how the character looks. Maybe this story will be really great, but if the plot leaks are correct, and I'm not going to get into them here, yeah, the plot is fairly weak too. So, will it be a total big disaster? No, I think it will be mixed. I think James Gunn is a good filmmaker, but and again, I think he's been on a roll. Suicide Squad by him was pretty strong. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I did not like Guardians 1 and 2. I just don't buy the consensus with other people like, "Oh my god, that was that was prime filmmaking." I'm like, it just ripped off Star Wars. And I get that's a normal thing to rip off Star Wars. Everyone's doing it, but I was still like, "Oh, he's ripping off Star Wars." And I was like, okay, I guess. There's a time to take things from Star Wars and a time to try to do something new. So, Guardians of 1 and 2, I go against the consensus. I just don't think they're that good. They're not horrible. They're just like, they're fine. But then Guardians 3 was really, really good. But that also had a major problem with Adam Warlock. Again, he didn't look that good. That was one big problem. But also, the story with him was kind of lame and weak. And that was a big hole. Overall, a very good film, but Adam Warlock was not well done. I'm sensing something will happen the same way. Superman will be a good film, but Superman himself will be kind of like the weakest part. And again, if he's building his universe around Superman, yeah, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all.
I don't believe in this movie.
But you're on the
Also,
record stating
you have to prove it to me. This movie has to prove it to me that it's good. It's got no benefit of doubt.
That makes sense.
Benefit of doubt is gone after.
That makes sense.
It's too much shit that's been coming out. That ugly picture, the Nicholas Holt shit, the capping after people didn't like the suit.
The new 52 with James Gunn may be off to a very rough start. That said, not everything is terrible. Some things look great. Supporting cast is very good, so maybe it will still be a fun movie. But yeah, the idea that this was going to be like a huge improvement over Snyder, probably not. Maybe it'll be Superman Returns again. A nice, fun film, a bit of an homage to Richard Donner, a very good filmmaker, but not really like the greatest film of all time or the grand return of classical Christopher Reeve Superman. Just feels like James is still a little confused about what the hell he's doing. And he's getting very mixed reception from the fans. Even people who hate Snyder, don't like Snyder, are like, yeah, this may not really work.